everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Maze and today I'm going to be making this. And I know what you're thinking, man, that looks awesome, it's amazing, it's beautiful. What is it exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked. So recently, my client took a trip to the Holy Land and bought this statue. And she has this little enclave here, and as you could see, the statue is sitting on some books right now. Well, she rightly thought that that wasn't good enough and asked me if I could make something for her. And so I set out to make a little stand for it. I'll make a stand for her and I'll make some dust for me. So I started off by making the top. This board was way too big for my miter saw station. There was just not enough room, so I had to cut off the first part by hand. And then I went and cut off the cracked part on the table saw. And I wanted the top to be a book match of this piece, so then I resawed the board. Now my table saw the blade didn't come up enough for me to resaw it through all this board. I wanted to keep as much of the width as possible because at this point I wasn't sure how big the statue was, so I had to cut off the middle part with a hand saw. This saw is not really made for this, so it's kind of a pain, but I got it done. And then I planed everything smooth into the same thickness. Then I took some time to practice jointing with a hand plane, just for some fun and because you always want to keep up on your skills. So I'm using a straight edge, and then right here I'm putting the boards together to see if I could see any sunlight, and I guess I wasn't happy. And then you just do that until everything's straight. And then I glued them together. At this point I went to the client's house and I put the statue on the board and then kind of centered it and figured out how big we want the top to be. And then I could come back and cut it to size, being real careful to make sure that my glue joint was nice and centered. And then I used the table saw to cut it to length. And then at the miter saw I cut the corners off to match the base that the statue already has the octagonal kind of shape, and so I cut the corners off the top to match that. And then I went to my little router table here and I used an OG bit to kind of give it a profile. For all my profiles that I used either a cove bit or an OG bit. So with just those two bits you could do a lot of nice trim work. If you're buying router bits for the first time, those two will definitely serve you well. So then I needed to build some trim, so I needed to cut some wood for that. So I like to use contrasting woods a lot. I think that a light and a darker shade of wood comes together real nice and gives it some volume. So I'm cutting some maple here. So then I go to the table saw and rip me off a piece. I plane it down on the planer and resaw it on the table saw. And then I could go back to the planer to get rid of the saw marks and make everything the same thickness. Not all of these boards are going to be part of the trim, but you might as well do everything you can at the same time. Two of these boards are for another project. And then I could go back to the router table and router in my edge profile. I think I'm using an OG bit again, and I could do it on both sides of the board. Then I went to the table saw and cut off just the routed part that I needed, and then plane it down to sides, getting that profile and the thickness of it just exactly perfect, matching it up to the other one until it was aesthetically pleasing. And so I took that and cut the miters and glued that to the lid, so there was an edge there, and I wanted to make another layer. So I took the darker color wood, which was alder, and began to mill it down to the size I needed. So I ripped me off another piece. I took that piece and resawed it, and then planed it down to an even thickness. Then I go over to the router table, and I'm using a cove bit here, and I'm cutting that profile onto both sides, and I'm doing it in 2 passes. I always make it a little bit thicker than I need in the beginning because I want that bearing to ride along some of the board, and then I'll plane it down so that that extra wood that I had on the thickness for the bearing to ride to, I plane that off, and then I cut off the profile on my table saw. This is how I make most of my molding. And then I set about doing the miters and cutting that around and putting it on the edge. This is about kind of cutting it a little bit too big and then putting it on there and then kind of just trimming it until it fits perfectly. And you want to do some test boards to make sure your miters are nice and tight. And so that was the top done, so now I wanted to make the sides. Now it was a little bit smaller, I could use the circular saw a little bit safer. And this was a pretty wide board, and I wanted to keep as much of that as possible and just let the width of this board dictate how tall the sides were going to be. And so I set about resawing it, and my blade did not get anywhere close enough to resaw through this whole thing. And so I tried to split it after I resawed as much of it as I could, but it didn't work out, and so there's a little bit of cracks on one side that are going to end up being the inside, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I planed as much of it off as I could. And then I brought the boards down to about 3/4 inch thickness. There's going to be some decent weight on here, so I didn't want to go any thinner than that. And then I started to cut these to size. I didn't really measure them. I just always would take them and go to the top and then cut them until they fit into place. And then because the top is an octagon, I had to cut these off at 45 degrees, but 45 degrees facing out so that they're opposite of each other so that they'll fit inside the top. So this is what we're looking like. I haven't glued in these sides here yet, but this was just to see what it was looking like. It's actually starting to look like something. So this was kind of hard to glue up. I had to put in the long sides and clamp those in and glue them up, but I had to wedge in the short sides because I couldn't get any clamps in there. So then I went about to make the base, and I'm going to make the base square because I like the idea of having the octagon on the top and like a square base. So I cut off the wood I needed, using as much of the wood as I could, using pieces that were left over from the other parts. Cut them all down to the right width and then plane them all down to the same thickness. Then it was essentially making a frame that went around the base, and so I'm cutting them off at 45 degrees and then gluing them together. I usually use tape to clamp together my frames, and then using the router to route out, I think I used a cove bit on this one too. So here's a tip for your miters. If they're not perfect, you could take some super glue and pour some into the crack, and then use some sandpaper and create some dust and sand that into the crack, and the super glue will harden and hide that bit of ugliness. So then this was a difficult glue up too. As you can see, I built the frame so that it matches the sides where at the top, so it's a perfect match for the sides around the top, because this is difficult to clamp up. You know, I normally would have built this thing from the bottom up, but I wanted it to match the same size as the statue base, and so I had to build it from the top down. So a lot of this I had to kind of figure out as I went. So with the frame fitting at the sides at the top, I was able to make a jig with the frame and some offcuts to have like a support for the back of the sides. And I was able to put some glue around the bottom, and then I was able to slide the frame down so that it would be pressed up against the support and the frame and hold itself together. So I wanted to make the base have a few more layers as well. So I took some of the maple I had. There was a warped piece, so I actually had to go to the jointer to flatten it out. I'm taking it back to my table saw and making sure that the wiggle is out of it. So once I did that, I could cut it down to size again, rip it down to the right width, and then plane it all to the same thickness. If you want to do like boxes and decorative molding type of things, you're going to need a planer for sure. Buying all these things at different widths would just be too expensive. Like, I'm able to buy one big block of wood and get all my pieces off of it thanks to this planer. This planer is more than paid for itself. So then once I did that, I could go back to the router table and route in, I think I did an OG profile again. And then I could use the miter saw to cut my miters and glue it to the bottom. So the top had 3 layers, so I figured the bottom should have 3 layers. So I was back to the table saw to rip off another piece and resaw it. And I bet you're gonna guess, yep, plane it all down to thickness. It's very repetitive making kind of molding, but it looks gorgeous, I think, especially when you have the different contrasting woods. And so then I started measuring it out and, you know, fitting it to the bottom so that there's just a little bit of a reveal. I left this one just a straight, you know, straight edges, no router profile on the sides. Give it a nice solid foundation. And then I glued it together like a frame. It's going to be glued to the other base, so I don't really need splines. But this is how I usually glue my picture frames. I haven't really found a need to get any special, you know, 90-degree clamps or anything. If your miters are good, it'll come out good. So that's what it's pretty much going to look like. I let that dry and then I glued it to the bottom. And so this is where we're at. This is where I'm going to end part 1. In part 2, I'm going to make some panels. This looks kind of lean, so I'm going to make some panels. I'm going to carve out some panels, and I'm going to use some pillars to kind of hide those corners and transition from the square of the base to the octagon of the top. And it's going to end up looking like this. So thanks for watching. Subscribe so you can see part 2. Should be coming out in a little while. And thanks for watching. Support your local craftsmen and get out in your workshops and make your own dust.